My sense tells me this isn't only about a prison visit, it's about what that visit reveals about our collective soul. Saye, you're preparing to see Earth from space as a Virgin Galactic astronaut and training for that profound shift in consciousness astronauts described as the overview effect. And Virgin Unite has positioned this space program not only as adventure, but as consciousness expansion that leads to more compassionate action on Earth. Yet you've chosen to enter one of Earth's most confined spaces, San Quentin's death row. And among all the causes you could champion, space exploration, environmental protection, global education, something has called you to walk in these corridors of condemnation. What was that moment of calling?
So eloquently spoken. Thank you so much, beloved Peter. It is so wonderful to receive you on such an auspicious day. We have an equinox coming up, so it's very powerful. So it's no coincidence that you and I are speaking on such important matter today. There are many different aspects to my visit. One is that for me, as an energy transmitter, I find myself in places that the energy needs shift. I know that in my core, by entering death row, that I would like to let you know is now empty. That building is completely empty at this moment, which is a huge milestone to celebrate. I met with individuals, the residents of San Quentin, living in those quarters. I had a one-on-one conversation that they're no longer there and they have been transferred to the different area inside of San Quentin, that it's more free. Everybody's a resident. Even in the middle of the space, there's a big fountain with a big pool of water and trees that I really enjoyed seeing, because I believe nature is healing, water is purifying, and just to see those elements available, their energy is emanating the space in San Quentin. And the residents have the chance to look at it, to be around it. To me, that was another confirmation that we are heading towards a better direction in our justice system.
What this shows me is you're describing your whole visit to San Quentin is archetypically, it's the ascent into the underworld. It's the archetypal pattern where individuals cross into society's collective shadow to retrieve wisdom for healing. I see a correlation with your space training. This amplifies this because you're literally preparing to see the bigger picture while simultaneously confronting our deepest wounds.
So beautifully said. I'd like to let you know that I do see the bigger picture every morning. I take those flights quite often. It takes it to our other conversation that we will have, whether as human 3D and physical, we put lots of emphasis in the body, but we could travel without it, with our consciousness, and I frequently do. So I do tap into that, and I do access that bigger picture all the time. I understand where you're coming from. And yes, it is important to acknowledge that, to know that does exist simultaneously with the way we are going about our life, and see how we could potentially impact that. And that's why the Responsible Business Initiative, they're doing a wonderful job, and they are getting together the business leaders to sign up, to use their power, use their influence, use their voice, use their signature to be part of this initiative, as it's doing really well. Again, I'd like to bring attention to death row was completely empty, and they're going to renovate that building. They showed me where they're going to have washer dryers for the residents to do their own laundry, and it's going to transform. They're going to change the colors inside. And one of the interesting things that I saw, where back then called it the death row building, I saw there was a sign that said, if you feed the bird, you will get, I don't know, 150, 115 punishment. I was like, what does that mean? They had that sign all over. They said, because The residents would start feeding the bird because they're bored and the birds will come inside a building. The more they feed them, the more of them would come and they start making a mess on the guards. So they made it a rule that if you feed the bird, you will get punished for that. Even bringing it to something so human, the only thing that one could have access to, the one connection with an animal, that was being punished. I am not speaking about doom and gloom. I'm just informing. This is how a human being has lived in these corridors, in that building, and much more. Now that's being transformed to a lighter space.
I know that you work globally with
Yes.
refugees and children in crises.
Yeah.
These are things that people and society sometimes overlook.
Yeah.
By walking into death row, these are people society is actively condemned to die. What was your internal energetic experience in those first moments?
I am very in tune with the energy and I feel it. I'm very in touch with that. Walking into it, I start shifting. I start transmitting within my vessel, within my body. But I made sure to step into a couple of those cells physically. I could see flashes of what happened. I could see the darkness. I could see the inhuman way one has been treated.